Well, good morning, friends. First thing that I'd like to do is get some thanks out of the way in case I run out of time at the end. So obviously, first of all, thank you from the bottom of my heart to Rosalind. We've become friends over the years, and for putting on such an amazing conference for all of us here today. So on behalf of your Celtic cousins in Scotland, I want to say thanks. And the second thing, I haven't been able to do this publicly before, but I wanted to make a personal thanks to Professor Gilmore for saving my life and for saving the lives of thousands of people around the world. So, so with that, I'm going to try and squeeze 15 years of my life into the next 10 minutes. So this is pretty much a show and tell rather than a PowerPoint. So the first slide is the only one that's got any text in it. So you might be relieved to hear that. So the first thing I should say is that I'm an AL amyloidosis patient. And I'm going to tell you how all this journey started to begin with. So originally, my journey starts in 2010 and a visit to my GP with suspected prostatitis. Now, at the same time, I was exhibiting a number of other symptoms. So I was being sick, I felt nauseous for most of the day. I had a strange pain, almost like a stitch, underneath my ribcage, which subsequently I was told that this was an expansion of my liver capsule, but it was causing me great discomfort. I was vomiting a lot, and as you can see from the photograph here, the one on the right-hand side was demonstrating the swelling that started in my feet. Now that swelling then progressed into my legs and then my abdomen, and for anybody who can remember what the Michelin Man looked like, that's exactly what the shape that I was taking. Now, fortunately for me, and this sounds kind of counterintuitive, but the photograph on the left-hand side was after an episode of vomiting, okay? So I burst all the blood vessels around my eyes, and then I ended up in A&E in Dunfermline, where I was for 2 weeks, trying to get a diagnosis. So the other symptom, and I'm sure it's common to anybody that's got any type of amyloidosis, but extreme fatigue was plaguing me every day of the week. So after the original diagnosis was made in Dunfermline, but all that they were able to tell at that time with the initial test was that I had amyloidosis. So they didn't know which type I had and also the spread of it. So I was referred to the National Amyloidosis Centre in London, where it was confirmed that I had AL amyloidosis. Now, one thing that I wanted to say in relation to the way that the news was broken to me at our local hospital, they discovered that I had amyloid in my system, and they said that without treatment, you're unlikely to survive more than 15 months. And then when it was confirmed with a biopsy, the other consultant said to me, you know, even with treatment, I wouldn't be thinking about old age, okay? So 2 weeks between that diagnosis and the referral to London, I was living in purgatory, okay? And it was only when I met Julian and he said, quite matter-of-factly, yeah, there's no cure for this at the moment, but I think we can maybe get you back to where you were, but it'll take a couple of years and you need to start chemotherapy right away. So that was my first episode of chemotherapy, and you're looking at a very emaciated Mark McConway here, but believe it or not, that's me getting better, all right? So originally, I was swollen with fluid. After treatment had started, that fluid came away within days, and I was left looking in this pretty poor shape, but I was actually doing quite well. So, yeah. So, first episode of remission, and I want to tell you a few of the things that I'm fairly proud of achieving. So, 3 years, almost to the day of my first appointment at the National Amyloid Centre, having been pushed around by my wife in a wheelchair for 3 months because I had neither the strength nor the energy to propel it. But 3 years after that, I rode a bicycle from Dunfermline in Scotland to the National Amyloid Centre in London, a distance of 507 miles, and we did that in 6 days, cycling 85 miles a day. So that was point number one. This Professor Hawkins and my friend Tam McLucas, who cycled with me, unfortunately he passed away very recently with Alzheimer's. Then in 2019 I took part in the challenge cycle between London and Paris with Myeloma UK. I was the only amyloidosis patient on it, so it gave me an opportunity to talk more about amyloidosis. In 2014, myself and 2 other amyloidosis patients, George Turner and Gail Hogg, we founded the Scottish Amyloidosis Patient Support Group. Now, sadly, both George and Gail have passed away a few years ago, but I continued to run it and we've expanded it. COVID came along. We couldn't have our meetups for lunch, so I thought, I wonder what would happen if I put this on Zoom, and it took off like a rocket. So we've now done over 120 90-minute sessions over Zoom, and we've had people join us from different parts of the world. I have to say I don't advertise this because I want to keep it relatively small so that everyone's got a chance to tell their story. So, everything's going great. I make it as far as 2021, and then lo and behold, I relapsed. And you can see the feet have gone up like a balloon again. I can't get my cycling shoes on, so that's always a barometer. And then you can see the pitting in my leg. It was quite deep. So, and then I noticed, I think it was a slide you had, Julian, where a huge blister had come up on my feet with a swelling. That's it after it had burst. So then again, we're on the chemotherapy, but the treatments are a lot more effective now than they were when I started out my journey in 2011. So I started chemotherapy again, and then I had stem cell treatment in January, February of 2022. So I'm now 3 years in remission from that, and this is just an indication for anybody who's maybe been told what to expect with stem cell treatment. This was me getting my own stem cells back, so it's called an autologous stem cell treatment. And so yeah, it's like something out of Doctor Who actually, when they bring the barrel up and bring your stem cells back out. So it wasn't a walk in the park, but I'm sure that there are many things in life that people have experienced that's a lot worse. So anybody sitting in this room, if you've been told that you're a good candidate for stem cell treatment, I know it's nerve-wracking, but I would say just keep your eyes on the prize. You're going to get out of this potentially with the stem cell treatment. So fortunately, the stem cell treatment worked. I was back in the game. And then 16 months after the stem cell treatment, as Rosalind was mentioning, the lovely Aguera family from Canada had asked me if I would join them on a challenge cycle of 620 kilometres down the west coast of Ireland from Malin to the Cliffs of Moher. And happily, I was able to do it with my son, so that was an experience as well. So we all survived, and you've survived my 10 minutes. So thank you very much.